stadium at Piedmonte, the 1st Canadian Corps holds a sports meet. On the ground where ancient gladiators once fought with sword and trident, our modern warriors march to friendly competition. With their first glorious action as a corps, not many weeks past, a brief rest period makes possible the staging of finals in divisional and corps meets. Participants are all in tip-top form after months of campaigning. Teams are out to score valuable points which will bring home the cup. The opening event on the card is the 100-yard dash, which provides the spectators with a keenly contested spectacle. In the 1-mile event, the infantry commence piling up points which do not multiply fast enough to keep them in a competitive position. The winner of the 3-miler sets a grueling pace and romps in fresh as a daisy. The mighty muscle men of the Cape Breton Highlanders hold their own against the stalwarts from the Westminster Regiment in one of the features of the day, the tug-of-war. It's a great holiday for the boys in the grandstand. All that's lacking are the peanuts and Cracker Jack. Corps troops relentlessly pile up point after point to move into the honor position of top scorers. The cup goes to Corps, while the tankmen take second place and one CBRD come third in a top exhibition of athletics. Excitement is in the air around a certain CWAC barracks somewhere in England. A detachment is preparing to leave for the Mediterranean theater of war. The medical staff is having a field day. The girls are inoculated against every disease in the almanac, including the bite of the Italian wolf. You won't need your winter woolies, Private Smith. You're off to the sunny south. Tropicals will be the order of the day from now on. Join the Army and see the world. A summer cruise to the land of romance costs plenty of folding money in peacetime. Now you can make the trip on the government and draw Army pay to boot. A little thing like a lurking Jerry submarine just lends spice to the outing. From the happy faces of our CWACs as they come ashore, no hardships were suffered. They refused to confirm the rumor that the sergeant major served tea in their bunks every morning. At GHQ, the hand-picked contingent will relieve soldiers for frontline duty. A hearty welcome is extended to the Canadian Army girls who have traveled so far to carry on for victory. A direct contrast to the weeks of hard fighting up the rugged spine of Italy are the days spent in rest camps. Stationed far from the din of battle, war-weary Canadians play and exercise as they store up energy for future campaigns. Basking in the health-giving Mediterranean sun, days slip quickly by. There is a continuous round of sport and entertainment. A balanced routine is calculated to develop both mind and muscle. When a spot of leave comes due, Naples is the magnet which draws the men of the services. It is hard to remember that in its main street, teeming with sightseers, not many months ago, grim engagements were fought. Now the stores are packed with all kinds of merchandise to tempt the window shoppers. Service clubs provide a meeting place for friends from the four corners of the Dominion. Except for the Italian names, one might be on Regent Street, London, Granville Street, Vancouver, or St. Catherine Street, Montreal. As a matter of fact, you would meet more friends on the main street of Naples than you would in your own hometown these war days, because the gang's all here. A hot cup of tea tastes good no matter where it comes from. On the drive up to tea, Canadian engineers captured a German portable kitchen. Taking a fancy to it, they present it to their cook. It immediately becomes Rommel's tea wagon, light lunches a specialty. What? No hot dogs? We'll speak to the management about this. War or no war, the Saturday night function must go on. Even if there are no tiled bathrooms, we have plenty of hot water. Empty petrol tins can be turned to some amazing uses. A Rube Goldberg dream come true is the shower bath at a brigade headquarters. The big advantage of it is that there's no bathtub to clean after using. During the occupation, it was difficult for the people of Cherbourg to offer active resistance to the enemy. They were watched and spied upon. They were practically prisoners in their own town. There were many ways, however, in which they could demonstrate their true sympathies. In a peaceful little graveyard in adjacent fields lie the dead of Germany and the dead of the United Nations. Daily to the graves of the Allies come the women of Cherbourg. With gentle hands, they tend the flowers which grow there in profusion. Flowers symbolic of the spirit of France, fresh and radiant. German graves stand out in marked contrast. There are no flowers for remembrance, nor any evidence of loving care. The contrast bears witness to the faith of once enslaved Normandy. To Canadian units in France falls the honor of conducting the attack against Carpiquet. The little Norman town is considered to be one of the strongest points on the Caen perimeter. It is one of the keys to Caen itself. Careful planning is necessary to ensure perfect liaison with the British unit on the right flank. Their job is to invest ground south of Carpiquet. From well-prepared positions, German guns and mortars hit the Canadians with everything they've got. Their object is to smash our lines of communication before we can build up reserves for the attack. Despite their savage bombardment, troops, transport, and tanks move steadily forward to the starting point. At 5 o'clock on a misty morning, 0 hour approaches. A typical Montgomery mass of artillery is concentrated on the front. The order comes down from the operations room to open fire. Our guns open up with a devastating barrage, plowing a path of exploding shells over the town and airfield. Behind the barrage, our infantry and armor moves. Smoke screens over the battlefield drift along the front, mixing with the haze from exploding shells. In the murk, visibility at times is 0. Augmenting the guns, rocket-firing typhoons dive like black meteors right on German positions. They blast with explosives at point-blank range. Heavy machine guns from wooded emplacements spurt out lines of tracers. Mortars throw in bombs at a rapid rate, softening up enemy positions. The combined weight of Canadian striking power goes all out, leaving the enemy dazed by its frightful violence. Advancing over 1.5 miles of open ground, infantry, supported by armor, move into the town. An hour after commencing the attack, leading elements report from the outskirts. Shortly after, the signal comes through to headquarters, Carpiquet is taken. In the wake of battle is one of our carriers, which received a direct hit from an enemy shell. In the sky, an enemy fighter is brought down. Its pilot is lucky. He bails out and lands safely. He is brought in on his way to concentration camp. Although the town is won and dazed prisoners filter back in streams, the enemy keeps up stiff resistance. A prolonged and bitter engagement takes place across the airfield to the south. Jerry counterattacks with full force, but he can't budge the Canadians. Digging themselves into their positions, they hold their ground tenaciously. All the time, a steady stream of supplies and reinforcements move up. The salvage trucks take back empty shell cases. The terrific concentration of artillery fire uses up plenty of shells, yet all salvageable material is collected for another day. Nothing useful is discarded. General Montgomery says well done after paying a visit to forward positions in Carpiquet, another glorious name on the Canadian battle roll of honor.